Origin. It's who you are, where you're from, your ancestry, blood, bone, and being. It's parentage, kin, and race. Pedigree, descent, stock. The mystery of art and science combining to shape an individual of superior power. It's your lineage, inception, father, mother, brother, sister, the beginning and the end. Origin. New South Wales versus Queensland. Played as only these supermen can. Lighting up their birthplaces. Putting pride and punch into their little towns and big cities across the vast world of wonder. This is where only the excellent excel. Alfie Langer did it. Johns will score. Joey Johns too. King Wally, he did it in the very beginning. And GI's doing it now. For every loser, there are 100 winners. For every tear, 1,000 cheers.
It's been a long time. Oh, it's been a long time, man.
Because no contest salutes its heroes more than Origin.
New South Wales have done it. The 8-year dynasty has ended.
New South Wales versus Queensland. Right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Nothing about Origin is bigger than the hits. This is the real hit parade. A parade of champion footballers giving their very best to either bust tackles or be busted. It's Wipeout on land. You could say it's as if their lives depend on it, and you would be telling the absolute truth. From the Chief to Blocker, the nicknames have it. From Choppy Close to this little big man, the Axe. Given lesser beginnings, they could have ended up in the underworld. But as it is, their standover work is done in public and applauded by millions.
What a fight, what a brawl, what a melee, a brouhaha.
State of Origin is the closest team sport can come to war, and it's rarely civil. The code is as simple as it is raw. You're out there for your state and for your mates. You are not to take a backward step ever. Even before the first battle back in 1980, Big Artie and Little Tommy Raudonikis sensed, perhaps by nature, what would bring the fans through the gate.
Because the Queensland people will be expecting me and him to clash, and well, I can tell you we're not going to disappoint them.
So it was something that was always going to get a little bit violent, the game, at different times, and you know, whether it was Mick Crane or Steve Edge, who were my teammates at Parramatta, if it meant them being on the receiving end, so be it.
Well, there's another headline. The referee's missed that one. Again from Arthur.
Throughout the 80s, we didn't need Don King to promote Origin and its fracas. because we had the real king, the Emperor, and he ruled with an iron fist from north of the border.
Sydney hates me and I hate Sydney. It's about even the way I look at it.
Wally Lewis was Origin football, I guess, in the the early days. We all loved to hate a tall poppy, and Wally was that for Queensland.
Even when King Wally played peacemaker, he did it in a style befitting the calamity of the stage.
And I was protesting why Greg Kineski was about to be sent off. The touch judge was saying that Kineski had started the brawl, he was on top and he was throwing all the punches. And I just kept saying, mate, turn it up, he had the ball.
Yeah, well, their king had been sent from the field, had been dispatched from the field, and what else would the Queenslanders do? They're very passionate, so they've just started throwing objects onto the field. Cans were coming on the field. I mean, I'd never experienced anything like it.
I didn't know what to do because I just thought, oh no, if they start all jumping over the fence, like there's only 13 of us, there's like 1,000 of them. And
I said, no mate, we'll settle down, we'll just clear the cans off. And actually Benny Elias has gone over and started picking cans up and throwing them back into the crowd.
Well, Gordon Tallis, he's the Raging Bull. Brett Hodgson, he's Mighty Mouse.
Hodgson around to Carey. Hodgson lassoed by Tallis. Look at Tallis. Look at Tallis.
When he takes to the field, you just see his eyes. They open up, they go white.
And when they roll, you want to stay away from them.
Look at Tallis. Look at Tallis. He drags him over and out of the rectangular ring.
He loves taking opportunities. And when he got hold of Hodgson, right, and Hodgson weighs about 43 kilos. He should be riding at Randwick on Saturdays. And I watched him do that, and he thought, I've got this bloke. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do to him. I'm going to throw him into the grandstand. And he would have kept going if he could have.
And just the way that Gordon did it and just kept dragging him, it was like he was going to throw him out of the stadium. It's like something out of a cartoon. It wasn't funny for Brett Hodgson.
I probably thought he could have done a bit better and thrown him over the fence. Gordon probably thought that he probably could have as well.
That was one of the great moments in Origin. It's, I see it so often and I just go, how good was that?
And the stage is set. Game 3 in the Coca-Cola State of Origin is underway.
And I had a call, and it was called Cattle Dog. And Spud Carroll loved it. And what it meant, we put a stink on, we were in trouble.
He's going to score! Aiken scores for Queensland!
Oh, they're on fire!
I was playing hooker at the time. I wasn't too keen on the call. Tommy's on the bench there and he's screaming, Cattle Dog, however Tommy talks. I thought, oh, here we go.
The scrum sort of packed down and Steve Menzies just put his head up and he said, oh no, not the dreaded Cattle. Poor old Steve Menzies couldn't crush a grape.
Spud's unloaded. He's taking it to heart, as Spud does.
Now they come up out of the scrum and Mark Carroll is throwing them. Andrew Johns is looking for Goddard.
And I was shaping up against Jimmy Goddard. The next thing I've copped about 10 in the face. So they broke us up. I thought, hang on, I want to at least try to land one. So I've come around and put a great sidestep on the touch judge or the referee and come around and threw another couple at him, missed him, and then...
There's Andrew Johns trying to get around.
The toe, he's landed it right on the pecker.
Jamie Goddard's hit him with the best right hand you've ever seen, like, and put him straight on his back.
Goddard, he didn't miss.
Johns has got blood streaming from the mouth wound.
I've sort of come to in the sheds, getting about 27 stitches up my lip here, with Tommy Rodonicus above me barking at me, get out there, you weak so-and-so.
This battle cry inspires Fatty Vorton's mob of no-names to one of the greatest upsets in Origin history. For 80 enthralling minutes, not one try is scored. Yet everyone is raving about Queensland's fighting spirit, and by game 2, enough is enough.
Fatty came in and said that he'd spoken to people inside the New South Wales camp, that New South Wales were going to teach us a lesson after the humiliation of the first game, and the first person who said Queenslander was going to get punched in the face.
I said, who's going to yell it out? And 17 hands just went straight up. It's good to see. Well, I was sitting up in the grandstand with Choppy and the first scrum went down, and I heard this big Queenslander!
Well, they've come from everywhere like was almost a rehearsal.
I think it was Tony Hearn who actually yelled out Queenslander, and so it was on.
To tell you the truth in that fight, I don't know who I grabbed because it was just all on. It was all on, and it would just do your best.
There's bodies everywhere, and blokes are fighting, and punches are being thrown. Mate, we had like Matt Singh and Danny Moore giving it to New South Wales players they played with, at club level, and it was good.
I basically got picked because I was an aggressive player, and I probably suited Origin.
So on top, Hancock stopped the run. Oh, into Dyer. Oh, well, talk about a blue wall. Bang.
I put a big hit on Michael Hancock early, then I put one on Andrew G and Mike McLean. And then right on half-time, Steve Walters ran the ball up.
There's the siren. The end of the first half. And a bit of a punch-up. Players coming in from all over now. And still going.
And then something happened, something out of the corner of my eye, just seen this thing running towards me. This bald-headed thing with his eyes rolling like poker machines. And I looked around and I said, oh shit, I'm in some trouble. Here's the king. The king was bolting towards me.
Oh, Dyer and Lewis. They're mouthing off at each other.
So before I knew it, he was right in my face, calling me every name under the sun, saying I should be sent off, saying I should be in jail for what I've been doing on the field tonight.
Lewis again says something to Dyer. They push and shove. Oh boy.
The funny thing was, when he first came towards me, I didn't know whether to get his autograph or hit him. I was that in awe of the bloke.
Yeah, well, I can tell you didn't ask me for my autograph.
Still to come on the celebration.
State of Origin to me is just finding that little bit extra when you think you've got nothing else to give. It's that little bit of guts, extra, and determination when there's nothing left in the tank at all.
It's about your soul. It's about you living and breathing the game, and about you showing your teammates just what you're made of.
They go out there and they play their hearts out. They wouldn't want to come off. They said, Tom, don't bring me off, mate. Don't bring me off. Leave me on there. Until they did you proud. They played with broken bones. They played with, just big cuts and things like that. But geez, they were very courageous, I tell you.
Yeah, it requires an unbelievable willingness to sacrifice everything for your friends, your mates, your teammates. To lay every muscle, every bone, every ounce of your blood to make sure that you'll do whatever it takes to win that game. And if you haven't got that, if you haven't got that level of commitment, you haven't got that level of sacrifice within you, then you don't belong there. You're not an Origin player. You're just making up the numbers.
For 3 decades, an age of emotion. This has been the mindset of Origin.
We've got to do it for 40 minutes, have a rest, and another 40. We've got to do it. We'll win the game in the 80th minute because we'll do these things.
Here, courage is not so much taken for granted, but it is surely expected. This bloke could get under the skin of Queenslanders like no other. He made them itch. He made them cranky. And in the end, he made them respect him. Much as they hated him, he won everyone over this famous night in '92.
And Benny Elias is turning this game around. No doubt about that.
As they say in the classics, some mums do have him, or something like that.
When Phil Gould said, you've got to bleed for each other, this is State of Origin, you've got to do anything. But that was the amazing part. But the most amazing part was when my mother jumped the 6-foot fence, got through 100 security guards, and she's out in the middle of the field with 30 seconds to go. That's amazing.
You want to talk courage? Then consider Game 2, 1989. The Maroons lose Meninga, Vaughton and Langer by half-time.
Langer's coming up.
That's Meninga, Vaughton and Langer. They go from one of their best ever teams to spare parts and a prayer. And there's more to come.
Of all the Origin matches I've been associated with, that was the greatest victory that we've ever had.
Seeing the blokes that had hurt themselves, and a couple of them didn't come off immediately once they'd hurt themselves, trying to
trying to keep going, and then when we realised that, you know, there was no one left, well, we just run a bit harder.
This is where I think Wally Lewis stood up as a great captain, and as they walked out before the second half started, he paraded them past the wounded, and he said, "This is what we're playing for, see what's happened here." And of course it was one of the most inspirational things I've seen a captain do.
That's the king. It's what he does. The sheer genius. There's no way this giant of the game is going to go home a loser. Not on this night, anyway.
He just faded across field and he was dummying, showing the ball left, right and centre. We didn't know whether he was going to kick, whether he was going to throw a long ball. And in the end, he just kept on running right over the try line.
Here's Wally Lewis with a stolen ball now. Lewis makes his way uphill. He's got some pace. Lewis, can he go all the way? Still down, he does wrong. Wally Lewis has gone in, and look at this.
I've always regarded that as Queensland's most famous victory, because when we walked off, I stopped the players. I said, just stop. I said, have a look at this. Have a look around. And the New South Wales public gave us a standing ovation. And I said, stop and have a look at it. I said, because you'll never ever get it again. Doesn't matter where we go. You will never ever see a New South Wales crowd give you a standing ovation.